Hi folks, Job Lot Comics here, and with October well underway and we're heading towards Halloween, I thought we would maybe have a look at some old horror comics, Bronze Age House of Mystery here, when the House of Mystery had switched over from a kind of Silver Age superhero stuff into more horror-driven anthology type stories that we were sort of used to nowadays, and Revolting Revelations by Bernie Wrightson. Bernie Wrightson cover obviously here on this giant-sized issue of House of Mystery. It's a classic from 1971. What issue is it? I have no idea, because oddly I can't see it. See, this is what happens when you get old kids. Your eyes start to go. Anyway, we'll have a look at it anyway and see how we get on. Like I said, fabulous Wrightson artwork. And strangely, these old horror comics are getting quite hot. They used to be like you would find them really cheaply in places, but see nowadays they're much more sort of highly thought of. This particular story here, Born Loser, we've got a script by Jack Olek. Who does the art? You might recognise it. It's Alex Toth. Good Lord. Issue 194. So anyway, we'll have a quick flick through this. Imagine Alex Toth doing House of Mystery. Who knew? You old timers out there will have recognised it right away. You youngsters might not be familiar with Todd's work, but he did a lot of sort of DC stuff. I remember he even did an issue of Detective Comics and stuff like that. His style kind of reminds me of Mike Mignola. Very pre-Mike Mignola. I could be wrong there. Anyway, we got by that one there, and then we're into the Human Wave, which looks like a throwback to the 1960s, and it's probably a reprint story because they had to fill 52 pages, remember, so they weren't going to be paying writers and artists for doing new stuff when they could just go back to the well and cherry pick the stories that they want to put in here. Here's the Negative Man, and if you thought Negative Man was a Spider-Man villain, yeah, there you go. He's in this old DC horror comic first. Here's any 8 tapes or records for $3.98, which is probably about what you could get them for these days too. And again, is this Kirby? I think it is, which means it's an old reprint. And then we get the mail. And the House of Mystery and the House of Secrets, of course, they had their own hosts, just like in the old DC comics. You would have, the Crypt Keeper and the Old Witch and, all that kind of stuff. So here we had Cain and Abel, quite a strange biblical reference. Cain's mailroom, so Cain was in the House of Mystery and Abel was in the House of Secrets. And then, of course, you would also get some comedy stuff here from the likes of Sergio Aragonés. I hope that's how you say it. Cain's Room 13. It's so odd that these old horror comics would have funny bits in them. If any of you out there remember the Night Gallery TV show, which was the successor to Rod Serlings' Twilight Zone, the first couple of series of of Night Gallery, they were really creepy horror stories. But then one of the producers on it decided he wanted to do some really short sort of bumper episodes, just really like minute and a half, 2 minute things that were funny. And Rod Serling hated them. He felt it just lowered the whole tone of the show. And I think they had terrible problems on that particular show, Night Gallery. But it reminds me of these old DC comics where you would get these like horror stories, but then, then you get a joke. Maybe they just thought variety was the spice. But I'm with Rod Serling. If you're going to do a horror book, keep it horror. That's why we have Mad Magazine. If you want to do funny vampire stories, do it in Mad Magazine. So there you go, House of Mystery, Bernie Wrightson, great cover. Let's look at that again. It's from 1971. If you do see these anywhere, now's the time to pick them up. I could be wrong, but I get the feeling that the comic industry is on a real downward decline just now. And I think if you look around and you watch other more professional YouTube channels than this rubbish one, then you'll notice that you can get an awful lot of, especially in the States just now, the prices have dropped in an awful lot of books. Obviously those big keys are still, going strong. But you ever see a job lot of this? yeah, you got to pick them up and get them, especially if they're cheap. And I would venture that these old House of Mysteries, House of Secrets, Witching Hours, Unexpected, all those old DC horror books, I think they're going to keep going up in price, especially when you've got this kind of talent working on them. So if you see them, grab them, pick them up, read them, and put them away, and hope for the best. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe to the channel. I'll do more horror stuff through Halloween, and I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe.